Liliana's overcoming. The imposing Steinford mansion, home to one of the most prestigious families in the empire, stood as a monument to grandeur. Black stone walls, towering stained glass windows, and long corridors adorned with portraits of imposing ancestors. Crystal chandeliers illuminated the grand hall, reflecting the opulence of the house. However, behind all this magnificence lay a cold environment where affection was an absent currency. Liliana Steinford, the middle daughter, sat in an isolated corner of the grand dining hall, watching her family like a mere spectator. Her golden hair fell softly over her shoulders, and her blue eyes, which seemed to carry the weight of a restless soul, stared at her empty plate. At the center of the table, Duke Bernardo occupied his place of honor, his austere face and relentless eyes fixed on his children. Beside him was Aros, the eldest son, sporting an arrogant smile as he stroked his golden dragon, whose scales gleamed with a celestial light. Further down the table, Felipe, the youngest, glanced sideways at Liliana, his green eyes filled with a mix of sadness and compassion. Around them, the servants moved silently, avoiding any eye contact with Liliana, as if ignorance was the best way to remind her of her uselessness. The Duke's voice cut through the silence, deep and authoritative. "Aros, how is your dragon training progressing?" Bernardo asked, a glint of pride in his eyes. Aros smiled, exuding overwhelming confidence. "He shines like the sun, father. Soon, I'll be able to summon his light to illuminate even the battlefields. The Empire will recognize the greatness of House Steinford." "Excellent." Bernardo nodded in satisfaction before turning to Felipe. "And you, Felipe?" The young man averted his gaze, hesitant. "Kronos has yet to reveal his true power, father, but I'm sure he's just waiting for the right moment." The Duke frowned, impatient. "Dragons that hesitate are of no use. Keep training." Then, his sharp gaze fell upon Liliana. The room's atmosphere grew tense. "And you?" he asked, his voice laced with disdain. I forgot. Your egg remains the same. Cold, inert, just like you." Aros chuckled, resting his chin on his hand, his golden eyes shining with cruel amusement. "Maybe the egg knows its owner is useless, which is why it doesn't even bother to hatch." The servants exchanged glances, trying to hide their malicious smiles, and Liliana felt a wave of humiliation rise in her chest. Felipe opened his mouth to protest, but a single glance from Bernardo silenced him. Liliana clenched her fists under the table, her eyes brimming with tears she refused to shed. "Maybe." Her voice came out weak, almost inaudible. Maybe it's waiting." The Duke laughed coldly. "Waiting? For what? To be as useless as you." He snapped his fingers, calling one of the servants. "Take away that plate."